Welcome back, I'm Felix, and this is, I forgot the name of it already, hit 90s shows everyone watched and totally forgot about. I wouldn't say totally forgot about. We'll see. Because just the thumbnail had a picture of Wings, and I remember Wings. I know lots of people remember Wings. But yeah, let's see. I think a lot of the reasons we forget about shows because syndication deals. A lot of people don't realize not every show gets a syndication deal for whatever reason. Wings had one hell of a syndication deal on USA Network because USA used to show Wings 24/7. It was just like Wings, followed by Wings, followed by more Wings, and more Wings after Wings. It's like, Jesus. You could just flip to USA Network at any time and Wings would be on. But yeah, it was in syndication while it was still on, which for a lot of shows which was rare. They get syndication deal while you were still on. But now we have streaming, and a lot of these shows are not moving to streaming, which is bad for business if you ask me. I say move them to streaming, you could be making money off of them. What are you guys doing, network? But yeah. So, and I was just looking, at first it looked like wallpaper right here, or like a wall with the paint's peeling. Then it kind of like hair that's all marked, like a skin with hair coming out of it. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Well, anyways, let's get into it, see what shows pop up. And I want to see if I recognize all these shows. I want to see how many I don't remember. All right, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let's test my memory.
Friends, Seinfeld, Frasier, and ER. These are shows that have lived forever. But there were other 90s shows that were pulling in huge audiences and winning major awards that were basically forgotten the moment they went off the air. Today, we're resurrecting 10 of your favorite forgotten shows from the...
So far, I actually recognize every single show. I just can't remember the name of it. That's the Drew Carey show right there.
And figuring out what the heck happened to them. Tell me in the comments how many of these you watched and let me know if there are any I missed. Let's start with Wings.
What I was going to say, it's the syndication deals. That's why we're not seeing them. All these shows could be in syndication right now, and TV networks could be making money off of them. They just don't put them out there. You know what? Like TGI Friday on, what was it, ABC? Or was it CBS? Either way, they could put their lineup out there, and people could be watching it. Nostalgia. Nostalgia is big money.
About two brothers running a tiny airline on Nantucket Island doesn't get enough credit for how successful it was. It aired on NBC in the heart of the network's comedy lineup, including a stretch where it often followed Cheers during its early run, and for years it pulled in millions of viewers every week. At its peak, it spent multiple seasons ranked among the more watched shows on television.
Both the male lead actors went on to do bigger and better things.
Week after week, Wings drew audiences.
And there's Tony Shalhoub. Monk. Jeez, I could not think of his show. So all three of them went on to do other things. But I think out of all of them, Tony Shalhoub is the one that blew up the most.
That most hit shows today would kill for. And it was the perfect show for NBC because it was absurdly cheap.
Oh, and there's the Sandman. Right there. That's Sandman.
To produce. It had one primary set, the airport terminal, a small core cast, and no special effects. Just solid writing and great ensemble chemistry. NBC kept it on the air for 8 seasons and 172 episodes from 1990 to 1997. It never won a Primetime Emmy, but it didn't need trophies to justify its existence. So why is Wings forgotten? Well, it's a combination of things. It didn't deliver the kind of instantly quotable lines that Seinfeld or Friends became famous for. It lived in the shadow of bigger shows from the same creative DNA like Cheers and Frasier. It was solid, enjoyable, and reliable, but rarely described as great. But here's the legacy nobody talks about. Wings helped launch Tony Shalhoub towards stardom and gave Thomas Hayden Church a long runway before his Oscar-nominated turn in Sideways. Those two careers exist in part because Wings gave them a platform for years. Not bad for a forgotten show. Next up we have Coach, a grumpy college football coach in Minnesota dealing with his team, his family, and his love life. That was Coach, and it quietly dominated ABC for nearly...
Hey, some of y'all probably recognize him from Big Bang Theory. He was Meemaw's boyfriend.
A decade. Craig T. Nelson starred as Hayden Fox, and during its prime years, the show regularly ranked among the most watched series on television, even breaking...
And there's, what's that starfish name? SpongeBob's friend. That's the voice actor right there. Oh, and he was also the dad on How I Met Your Mother to the one guy, the dad they killed off. That's him.
The top 10. It was going head-to-head with heavyweights like Seinfeld and Home Improvement and still holding its own. Craig T. Nelson won an Emmy in 1992 for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Comedy Series. Jerry Van Dyke, who played assistant coach Luther, also received multiple Emmy nominations. After 7 seasons at Minnesota State, the show made a risky move. Hayden became the coach of the Orlando Breakers, a fictional NFL expansion team. The problem? That fundamentally changed what the show was about. Ratings started to soften, and ABC ended it in 1997 after 9 seasons and around 200 episodes. So why did Coach vanish? Because it was a dad show before that was even a category. It appealed to middle America, non-coastal audiences who loved football and family-friendly humor. When that demographic aged out and streaming-era nostalgia started favoring edgier or more prestige shows, Coach had nothing obvious to offer younger viewers.
I don't know. I still stand by, if they put Coach out there, I think it would find the audience. I think all these shows would find the audience. They were good shows. And a lot of these shows went on when I was a kid and I watched them. I think if they just put them out there, they would do good.
But here's what Coach proved. You could build a massive hit around non-coastal archetypes. It paved the way for shows like Last Man Standing and demonstrated that Middle America TV could dominate ratings even without critical worship or coastal appeal. Next we have Just Shoot Me, a workplace sitcom set at a New York fashion magazine. Laura San Giacomo as the serious journalist working for her dad's magazine. George Siegel as the publisher, David Spade as the sarcastic assistant bringing his
George Siegel, he was on the Goldbergs before he died.
SNL energy. For a stretch, this was part of NBC's legendary Thursday night must-see TV lineup, airing in that priceless block near Friends and ER. The show posted strong ratings in key demographics and ended up with 6 Emmy nominations and 7 Golden Globe nominations, including nods for Best Comedy. Stephen Levitan created the show, the same guy who later co-created Modern Family. The cast had genuine chemistry and the writing was sharper than people remember. Then NBC made a fatal move. They shifted the show out of its Thursday night comfort zone for its final season. Without the halo effect from
They did that on purpose. When they start shifting shows around, that means they're trying to get rid of it. They're trying to cancel the show.
TV Just Shoot Me struggled to hold on to the same audience. NBC canceled it in 2003 after 7 seasons and more than 140 episodes. Here's the brutal truth about why it's forgotten. It was the ultimate coattail rider. It flourished because of its time slot, not because it had a singular hook audiences couldn't live without.
I do remember watching the show. I think, especially now with all the Look at Me people, I think this would actually do good. I did watch it, but I wasn't a fan of it. It was one of the shows that was on, I watched it. So yeah, coattail riding, definitely.
There was no iconic character that transcended the show. It was just a well-executed workplace comedy that happened to air between juggernauts. When NBC's Thursday lineup fractured and the show moved, viewers didn't feel a burning need to follow it, but the show lived on by helping cement the dysfunctional fashion/workplace template you later see refined in things like Ugly Betty and even The Devil Wears Prada. Glossy settings, messy characters, and a mix of comedy and workplace anxiety. Next we have Dharma and Greg.
Oh, here's the thing about these two. The actress and the actor there, Dharma, I can't even say the name. Those two don't get along. From my understanding, they did not like each other.
A free-spirited yoga instructor marries a buttoned-up lawyer on their first date. That's the premise of Dharma and Greg, and it was a smash hit for ABC out of the gate. It exploded in its first season.
I still don't get how that worked. I never watched this show. I think I may have saw an episode or two, but it was not a show for me. Definitely, I was not the demographic.
25 fixture early on. It aired Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m., then moved to 8 p.m., where it continued to deliver strong ratings. Jenna Elfman won a Golden Globe in 1999 for Best Actress, and the show earned 8 Golden Globe nominations and 6 Emmy nominations total. The show was created by Chuck Lorre, who later created 2.5 Men and The Big Bang Theory. This was one of his earliest major hits, and it helped prove his formula. Clashing opposites plus broad, accessible comedy equals huge ratings, so what happened to it? For Season 3, ABC moved the show to Tuesdays at 9 p.m. with a lead-in from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, which was red hot at the time. The ratings lift was massive at first, but when Millionaire cooled off around 2000 to 2001, Dharma and Greg suddenly had less protection. NBC also moved Frasier into the same time slot, creating brutal competition. ABC canceled the show in 2002, and it ended without a carefully planned final episode. But also it just ran out of gas. The entire show relied on the clash between hippie and yuppie, Dharma's free spirit versus Greg's uptight world. After dozens of episodes...
Yeah, that was only going to last for so long.
Around that same tension, the central joke started to feel stretched thin. Here's the legacy. Dharma and Greg is part of the DNA of the Big Bang Theory and the larger Chuck Lorre empire. Lorre took the same basic idea, clashing personalities, culture clash, broad stereotypes colliding, and built an era-defining career out of it. Without Dharma and Greg proving the concept at scale, the modern Chuck Lorre sitcom universe looks very different. Next we have Mad About You, the show featuring Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt as a neurotic couple navigating married life in New York City. And it wasn't just a hit, it was prestigious. Helen Hunt won 4 consecutive Emmy Awards for Outstanding Lead Actress in a comedy series from 1996 to 1999. The show collected around a dozen Primetime Emmys and multiple Golden Globe Awards in its run. At its height, it hovered just outside the very top of the Nielsen charts and was considered one of NBC's flagship adult comedies.
I heard that they once wanted to bring it back, but neither one wanted to do that. Not every show needs to come back. And a lot of these shows, to me, shouldn't come back. There's a lot of them that shouldn't come back because there's no real reason for them to come back. So, yeah, just leave them alone.
And here's the kicker. Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt were widely reported to be earning around $1 million per episode each for the final season, putting them in the same salary conversation as the cast of Friends. Mad About You was the observational comedy of Seinfeld, but with actual emotions. It followed Paul, a documentary filmmaker, and Jamie, a PR specialist, through the minutiae of married life. Deciding who walks the dog, brushing their teeth together, the tiny negotiations of marriage. Eventually, NBC moved the show around to support different nights and lineups, and its ratings started to slide. The original run ended in 1999 after 7 seasons and 164 episodes. It lasted a long time, was showered with awards, and then largely faded from the pop culture conversation. But here's the hidden legacy. Mad About You legitimized the cinema-style sitcom. It experimented with structure and staging, including a famous one-take episode shot to feel like a continuous piece of real time long before that kind of thing was trendy. The show helped prove TV comedy could be subtle, intimate, and stylistically ambitious without giving up laughs. Spin City. It was ABC.
Now, this is one that I did watch. And right off the bat, I'm glad I got it paused here. She was on Blue Bloods, and she was on 911. And Friday Night Lights, she was the mom on there. And what was this black woman on? She was on something else. So, yeah, I'm trying to think of other shows these people would have been on. And he's just been all around. The rest, hey, did he pass away? And him? I don't know what happened to him, actually. And, of course, Michael J. Fox.
Smart political workplace comedy of the late 90s. Michael J. Fox played the deputy mayor of New York City, managing a goofy staff and a dim-witted mayor. Audiences and critics loved it. The show was a steady performer for ABC, and Michael J. Fox was its golden ticket. He won multiple Golden Globes for his performance and took home an Emmy as well. The series had a solid critical reputation and reliable ratings. Then, everything changed. In 2000, after 4 seasons, Michael J. Fox announced he was leaving the show due to complications from Parkinson's disease. Charlie Sheen stepped in to replace him.
Yeah, when Charlie Sheen took over, it lost that charm. It was gone. It was dead. Unfortunately, Michael J. Fox's Parkinson's kept getting worse. You would see a lot of more scenes with his hands in his pockets or him sitting or leaning on something, and it was all because of his Parkinson's. And you can see the gradual difference if you go back and watch the show. But with Charlie Sheen in the show, Charlie Sheen took over, and it was just about a playboy. It was like 2.5 Men, actually. It's basically like if the character from 2.5 Men was the deputy mayor. Maybe not that bad, but that's the kind of feeling I got from it.
And for the final 2 seasons. The show survived the transition, but it was never quite the same. ABC ended it in 2002 after 6 seasons total. So why is it forgotten? Some say it's because the show is so deeply rooted in a pre-9/11 New York political world that it feels like a snapshot of a city and era that doesn't exist anymore and therefore doesn't resonate. But also, the workplace sitcom format evolved. Shows like The Office and Parks and Rec redefined what workplace comedies could look and feel like, making Spin City's traditional multi-cam laugh track style seem older than it actually is. But here's the hidden legacy. Spin City was a showrunner factory. It was created by Gary David Goldberg, who had already done Family Ties, and Bill Lawrence, who went on to create Scrubs, Cougar Town, and co-create Ted Lasso. It also gave early visibility to actors like Connie Britton, who would later become a TV icon in Friday Night Lights and Nashville. Next up, we have Becker.
Oh, that's what it was, Nashville. I couldn't think of the other show. Surprised they didn't say 911. She was on there for 1 season at least. And I did watch Becker, and I think she did Becker after Star Trek. Oh, and that's the one from the Saw movies. And these two, I don't know what they've done since, actually. I know he keeps popping up every now and again. But yeah, that's Dax, if you didn't catch that. And she was in Saw. She's the one that portrayed the Puzzle Master or whatever he was. Jigsaw. I couldn't think of his name.
Hansen played a misanthropic, burned-out doctor running a rundown clinic in the Bronx, and it was a genuine ratings success in the late 90s and early 2000s. Becker spent its early seasons near the top of CBS's comedy lineup and enjoyed strong viewership, especially when it aired as part of the Monday night block alongside Everybody Loves Raymond. It was essentially Ted Danson doing House before House existed, a cynical, brilliant doctor who hates everyone and everything. Audiences loved seeing the former Cheers nice guy play a complete jerk. For years, CBS used Becker in a comfortable slot where viewers would just let the night roll from one sitcom to the next. But when CBS moved Becker to Sundays to anchor a new night, the ratings dropped. The show couldn't survive as easily outside its familiar block. CBS canceled Becker in 2004 after 6 seasons and 129 episodes.
Like I said, if they start moving a show around, that means they're trying to kill it. Stop trying to kill shows that are making you money. I don't get it. It's like, your ego is so fragile, you would rather lose money than keep making money. Unless the show's actually costing you money, then I can understand. But if it's costing you money, just cancel it. Anyways.
It never got a big, carefully constructed series finale. Why, after 6 seasons, was this show forgotten? Because Becker was a time slot hit more than a fandom obsession. People watched it because it was part of a dependable lineup. They didn't build an identity around it. When CBS moved it, viewers didn't feel compelled to rearrange their lives to find it. The show had no central romance, no iconic catchphrases, no giant cultural hook to keep people talking about it.
You've said that a couple times about the hooks and catchphrases. That's not one of the main reasons. There's lots of shows that didn't have hooks or catchphrases that when they moved them, the fans followed. That's not all that's required. But it was a good show. It's just, if they had moved it at the height of its ratings, fans probably would have followed. But they moved it towards the end of its rating. Like its ratings started to go down. That's why they moved it. They were trying to kill it.
From the schedule. But here's the legacy. Becker proved Ted Danson was bulletproof. Post-Cheers, everyone wondered if he could carry another show. After the short-lived Inc., Becker demonstrated he could anchor a second hit series for 6 years, which helped pave the way for his later reinvention in prestige and high-concept projects like Damages, Bored to Death, and The Good Place. Now, one of my personal favorites from back in the day, The Drew Carey Show. This was a working-class surrealist sitcom about a guy stuck in a dead-end HR job in Cleveland, and it was a legitimate hit. The Drew Carey Show became one of ABC's few consistent comedy bright spots in the late 90s. It was different. gritty but joyful.
For those of you who don't know, he voiced Batman in Batman the Brave and the Bold. He went on to host a late night TV show. She went to Scrubs. I don't know. I don't think she's done much, actually. He just pops up here and there every now and again. And he's still on Whose Line Is It Anyways? And Drew Carey hosts The Price is Right.
With insane musical numbers and opening credits that changed regularly.
Oh, he was on that TV show. He played the dad. What was the name of that show? I don't know the name of it. I didn't watch it.
It felt experimental in a way most network sitcoms didn't. ABC ran it for 9 seasons and 233 episodes from 1995 to 2004. That's a massive run for any sitcom. The finale aired in 2004, and on paper, the show looked destined for syndication immortality. But then came the music rights problem. The Drew Carey Show used popular songs for its opening themes: Cleveland Rocks, 5 O'Clock World, Moon Over Parma, and featured elaborate musical numbers built around well-known tracks. Clearing all of that music for streaming and home video was extremely expensive. For years, the show was hard to find in any official form, and that blackout basically erased it from the nostalgia cycle. For a long time, you really couldn't just hop on a major streamer and binge it. New generations never got that easy, just press play discovery moment.
That's what I was saying earlier, syndication. I forgot about that. That's another reason a lot of these shows on around is music. The rights to music is hard to navigate. And also because they change hands so often, the rights to music. And I was just thinking MTV had some good shows that you'll never see in syndication because of music. MTV had some short-lived shows that were really good, but you'll never see them in syndication because of the music right. They use popular music. So that's another reason you won't see a lot of shows. Oh, what was it? Supernatural had to swap out some music because of rights, because of music rights. So yeah, it's a real thing. Music rights can make or break a show sometimes when it comes to syndication. That's why I think shows should really go back to some shows to make their own music, like actual have a theme song written for the show. I think if they go back to that, they can hopefully avoid that in the future.
Have more episodes started to trickle back onto streaming platforms and digital services, but by then it had missed the first big wave of 90s nostalgia. And that's genuinely tragic because The Drew Carey Show was a pioneer for mixed media in sitcoms. It used musical sequences, fourth wall breaks, live episodes, and weird visual experiments in ways that shows like 30 Rock and Community later got a lot more credit for. It pushed the boundaries of what a network sitcom could be, long before meta-comedy was cool. Okay, now for a show that was much bigger than I even realized, Touched by an Angel.
Oh, yeah,
Three angels travel America helping people at crossroads in their lives. And it was an absolute juggernaut for CBS. At its peak, Touched by an Angel was one of the highest-rated shows on television, regularly drawing audience.
There is an episode where basically she does blackface. God makes her black, and then she begs to be turned back white because she's about to get killed by a bunch of racists. You don't really hear too many people talk about that episode, but yeah, that actually happened. That was a real episode. I'm looking at my eye. My eye is like, I can see out of it just fine, but I didn't realize how closed it was. Like, well, yeah, I wonder if he's going to bring that episode up.
In the tens of millions and spending multiple seasons ranked among the top programs in the country. Plenty of critics dismissed it as cheesy, but the audience didn't care what critics thought. Millions of people tuned in every week for hope, inspiration, and stories about ordinary people getting help at their darkest moments. CBS ran it for 9 full seasons and 211 episodes from 1994 to 2003. The show ended with a proper series finale. So why is it largely forgotten? Because inspirational network TV nearly vanished in the 2000s as television pivoted toward darker, more complex dramas. The Sopranos, The Wire, Lost, Breaking Bad, a show built entirely around overt spiritual messages and earnest hope.
Actually, I just realized I'm surprised Christian people aren't trying to push to get this show brought back. Della Reese, she's passed away, but you could get someone else. This is, Christians, these diehard Christians who want religious programming, religious shows. Here you go. This is a fine example of putting out a religious, spiritual message without shoving it down your throat. It was actually a good show. I remember watching. My mom watched it. So, yeah, it was actually a good show.
Started to feel like it belonged to a different era. There's not much room for Touched by an Angel in the prestige TV conversation. It's too sincere, too old-fashioned, too uninterested in anti-heroes and moral ambiguity. But here's the hidden legacy. Touched by an Angel proved there was a massive, loyal audience for spiritual and family-friendly storytelling that coastal media often ignored. It helped pave the way for the success of Hallmark Channel originals, faith-based films, and inspirational cable programming that still quietly pulls in big numbers. While critics and tastemakers largely moved on, that audience ecosystem never really went away. It just migrated elsewhere. The last forgotten show on this list had possibly the biggest impact on television, yet most people don't realize it. Jag was basically Top Gun meets A Few Good Men. Lawyers in the Navy investigating crimes and dealing with military justice.
I think, I might be wrong, but I think Jag was actually a spinoff of another show. Let's see if he mentions what show got spin off as a spinoff of it. But for some reason, I feel like Jag was a spinoff of another show. I'll look that up here after I'll finish this and see. But I feel like it was actually a spinoff of another show, and that show had failed.
And it became one of the most reliable workhorses on CBS. Here's the wild part. NBC originally aired Jag, then canceled it after one season. CBS picked it up, and it went on to run for 9 more seasons. Over time, it settled into a regular spot on CBS's schedule, especially on Fridays, and quietly built a loyal audience. Jag was the definition of middle America TV. Coastal critics largely ignored it. The rest of the country kept watching. It was a procedural about military law, competent, stoic, serious, not flashy, not edgy, just solid television. CBS ran it for 10 seasons total and 227 episodes from 1995 to 2000.
Oh, him. That's what I was looking for. I forget what he was on. He did something. Oh, what was he on? He's on the line now. He talks about that, what he did as a kid. Oh, and this guy passed away. I remember that. I don't know what happened to the rest of them. Oh, I think she's on Lifetime. She does Lifetime movies. And next, I haven't seen him much. But what was he in? He was something popular as a kid. When he was a kid. Yeah, well.
5. The show ended with a proper finale. Why is it forgotten? Because it isn't sexy. It's a military legal procedural that doesn't produce viral clips or easily memeable moments. There are no big catchphrases, no icon.
No, it's because of syndication rights. I guarantee you it has something to do with syndication rights. That's why it's forgotten. All these shows could be... Oh, sorry. I don't know what that was. All these shows could be out there making money, but the problem is syndication rights. Like the Drew Carey show, I forgot about music rights, and that's why a lot of shows are not out there. I can't remember. Wasn't a big fan of Jag. I didn't like sit down and watch it. Jag came out while I was still a kid. I think I was in high school when it came out. But yeah, a lot of these shows can't do syndication because of legal rights. So, and whoever owns the rights to Jag may not want to put it out there. Who knows?
Water cooler episodes that pop up on social media. But here's the big legacy. In 2003, Jag aired a 2-part backdoor pilot for a show called NCIS. Jag is the mother of the entire NCIS universe, the most successful drama franchise of the 21st century. NCIS has run for over 20 seasons and spawned multiple spin-offs. The franchise has generated billions in revenue and dominated CBS's lineup for 2 decades. Without Jag, there is no NCIS. Without NCIS, CBS doesn't dominate procedural TV for 20-plus years in quite the same way. Jag is available to stream, but it's often treated as a footnote, a launchpad for something bigger. The show itself pulled steady ratings for a decade, helped define a certain flavor of military drama, and then just slipped out of the conversation. But the ripple effect, undeniable. Did I miss any forgotten shows? Let me know in the comments, and if you...
All right, that was good. All right, hold on. I'll be right back. Let me look up Jag. I'm probably wrong about Jag being the spinoff, but let me look it up. I'm back. Nope, it wasn't a spinoff. I think what I'm remembering is like he said, it was on NBC, then went to CBS. I think that's what I remember why I think it was why my brain thinks it was a spinoff. But yeah, so far every single show I recognize, most of them I did watch. I didn't realize Becker was on for 6 seasons. I knew it was on for a long time. But yeah. And like I said, I think she went, Dax went there after Star Trek, after her character got killed off. And actually, I don't know if she was on the show for the whole season, for the whole series. Anyways, that was fun. That was good, a good romp down memory lane. I can't think anymore. I think it's time to call it quits. Go to bed. All right, everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and everyone take care. Later.